for all your business security needs. I know. I use them. They're terrific. Call today for your free confidential consultation. 941-724-4535. That's 941-724-4535. Or visit them on the website, BoydInvestigativegroup.com.
License number A1900020.
Hi, I'm Phil Grant at philsgang.com. You probably heard me on the radio talking about investing in stocks and trading stocks. Well, this is a special message that I am sending out to you. You, the person who is the beginner, who are getting excited. You're seeing every day the stock market going up, never comes down, keeps going up because of the tremendous stimulus that the president is putting into this market. He wants to continue this market going up while the economy's going down. That's what it's doing. The economy's going straight down. You know, banks right now are the worst ever. They've gone down 40%. I mean, everything's going down. Companies aren't making money, but the stock market's still going up. And you got to be very, very careful when you get into a market like this. You got to know when to get out, and that's where we come in. So if you're a beginner and you want to start learning how to invest stocks properly and have the comfort level of knowing when to get out, when to buy, when to sell, and when to get out, contact us at philsgang.com. Join today, free for 10 days.
The stocks discussed on Phil's Gang are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering acting on information presented, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice. Get ready for the radio show that tells you what Wall Street doesn't want you to know.
Oh, I'm a money magnet. Money's coming to me. Money sets me free. I'm a money magnet. Money's coming to me.
It's your daily dose of how to manage your money. And now it's time for Phil's Gang on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. With your host, Phil Grandy.
Wall Street has benefited more than Main Street has.
I don't think so.
Do you remember that? That was Bernanke when he was in front of Congress. And he was asked, because of the devaluation, because of inflation, which devaluates the dollar, and because of QE, stock buybacks, who benefited? Did Wall Street benefit more than Main Street? You heard what he said. No, not at all. Well, you know, I was listening this weekend. I never heard so much BS in my life, so much distortion. One of the biggest distortions is what causes inflation. And they were talking about how inflation is temporary. And most people don't even understand what causes it. Most people think inflation is caused because prices go up. Well, let me tell you, this distortion is so bad, and we've been lied to by the fake business news network, like Main Street News, they don't tell you the truth. So let's talk about it. So inflation is temporary. Really? Then why for the past 13 years, the Fed have been creating as much inflation as they can, as possible, so they can benefit from the devalued dollar? That's why. See, they benefit, the wealthy benefit. They want inflation. They want that dollar to go down. They love it. Now, for the past 13 years, the government has been embracing and creating inflation, but nobody ever reports on that. You know why? Because there's great benefits for the wealthy for a devalued dollar that comes from inflation. And one of the biggest benefits is America, the country, national debt, our Congress, national debt. Big benefit with a weak dollar and a lot of inflation to get that weak dollar, because it's easy to pay down national debt. And they also create inflation, and they've been doing this for years, 13 years. They call it temporary. It's easier to pay down our historic corporate debt, our historic national debt? Of course they want a weak dollar. They want the dollar to be destroyed, and they're going to create as much inflation as possible. And also another thing, it's easier to increase our exports. That's what we want to do, increase our exports. And it's easier to decrease that the expensive imports. It's also easier to pay down our budget deficits. So when you got inflation, the benefits are tremendous. Easier to pay down our historic national debt, easier to pay down our historic corporate debt. It's easier to pay down our historic budget deficits. It's easier to increase our exports and to decrease imports. So you think they're really trying like hell to keep inflation down? Are you nuts? Okay, so to understand inflation, we need to understand, and this all comes down to the market crash, because this is what's going to crash the market. Main Street. The result of inflation will kill Main Street, take us down. All right, so to understand inflation, you need to understand what causes it. Now think about inflation. It's a taxation on the hard-working Main Street, the Main Street folks. These are the people who make anywhere from $40,000 combined income to $65,000 combined income, $70,000 combined income. Inflation is a tax without legislation. That's the first thing why you got to get rid of the Federal Reserve. Imagine they're taxing us without legislation. So you need to know and understand the real cause, not the manufactured cause by the Fed and the FBN, Fake Business News Network rather. CPI. Let's talk about CPI. CPI is one of the biggest distortions ever. The Federal Reserve and the Fake Business Network tell us all the time, for years, they've taken parking space in our head that the CPI is a proxy for inflation. How many times are they waiting for the CPI report? See how much prices went up, the CPI. Boy, what's inflation going up? Look at the CPI. Now, the CPI, it identifies the price increases, but doesn't identify inflation. And there's a big difference. Big difference. Now, example. Let's say you own a shirt store. You sell shirts. And you took a shirt that was $25 and you think, what a great shirt. I'm going to increase it to $100. Now, if nobody buys that shirt because you overprice it, that's not inflation. Just because you said it went from $25 to $100, you think, oh, that's inflation. No, it's not. That's not inflation. And and if no one purchased the shirt, there's certainly no inflation. If it's just sitting there, you could price it to $1,000. There's no inflation. And it's important to understand this, because you're not going to know when the market crash is coming unless you do understand this. Now, let's talk about printing of money. That's inflation. No. Printing of money alone does not cause inflation. You can print trillions and trillions of dollars like they do every day. They printed, think about it, they printed 9 trillion, 4 trillion, 7.1 trillion, 8 trillion. You think that's inflation? No. Because if it lies dormant in a pile, it's not inflation. So when does this become inflation? All this money doesn't become inflation until they circulate it, called velocity. But they're not going to tell you about velocity and the importance of or how inflation works, because they don't want you to know. Because they don't want you to know how they're screwing you and how they're helping Wall Street and the wealthy, the very wealthy I'm talking about. Now, what causes inflation is taking the money from a pile. I mean, like I said, you can put all this money in one big pile. That's not inflation. You got to put it into circulation. Once you put it into circulation, that is inflation. Kind of think of a restaurant. You got to turn tables every night to make money, right? More times you turn, if you own a restaurant, more times you turn, more money you make. There you go. That's velocity. Now, as long as they print this money and put it into velocity, or there's velocity of turning it, and here's what they do. And that's why they print money all the time. They're printing money all the time because they want this is how they can create the inflation they need. Because remember, inflation, they love it because it's easier to pay down the national debt. Because you're paying down the national debt with less dollars because they're less valuable. That's why they want big inflation, so the dollar drops. So the weaker the dollar, you're paying down the national debt with less dollars because the dollars go down in value. Same thing with corporations. Corporations love inflation because they're paying down the highest debt they've had in history, corporate debt, with dollars that are devalued. So the more you can devalue the dollar, the better. And how you devalue the dollar? Cut. You keep on, inflation. Inflation. The more you can inflate things, the more the dollar devalues. So think about it. We had 4.1 trillion of QE, 6.5 trillion to provide the stock buybacks, 7 trillion to monetize debt, 9 trillion to prop up the banks, 8 trillion for stimulus. That's not done. That's what they do right there. That's why they keep doing stimulus. More when I get back.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
When the markets open, we watch the market all day long. And when we see there's an opportunity for a stock, and it's a stock that we've been following, there's a lot of stocks we put on our watch list, and it has to hit a certain criteria. Then when it does, we alert you. You immediately get an alert that says, we bought this stock, X stock, at $30. So you get an alert immediately. What's better than that? I mean, nobody does that for you. But the most important thing, they'll say, okay, here's why we're getting out now, or here's why we're taking profits. I think it's going to go down. Look, the most important thing is this. I want you to be prepared for when the market does tank or rally, that you're with us, Phil's Gang. 877-600-GANG. Join my gang right now, Phil's Gang. 877-600-GANG, and you'll be in position, and you'll sleep at night, and you don't have to worry.
Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grain at philsgang.com. You probably heard me on the radio talking about investing in stocks and trading stocks. Well, this is a special message that I am sending out to you. You, the person who is the beginner, who are getting excited. You're seeing every day the stock market going up, never comes down, keeps going up because of the tremendous stimulus that the president is putting into this market. He wants to continue this market going up while the economy's going down. And that's what it's doing. The economy's going straight down. You know, banks right now, worst ever. They've gone down 40%. I mean, everything's going down. Companies aren't making money, but the stock market's still going up. And you got to be very, very careful when you get into a market like this. You got to know when to get out, and that's where we come in. So if you're a beginner and you want to start learning how to invest stocks properly and have the comfort level of knowing when to get out, when to buy, when to sell, and when to get out, contact us at philsgang.com. Join today, free for 10 days.
Why pay thousands of dollars for a weekend seminar when for only $39.95 a month, philsgang.com provides all the daily market investing information you need to make profits in the stock market. With over 40 years of investing experience, only Phil Grandy and the philsgang.com team provide daily live investing webinars, up-to-the-minute market updates, all the investing educational videos you can imagine. Don't hesitate to learn, invest, and make profits. Go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG, 877-600-4264.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're fighting against childhood cancer every day. At the heart of this battle are our donors.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal.
Everybody is welcome here, and it doesn't matter your religion or what part of the world you're from, all that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
There's just no greater gift. If we have the ability to help, then we have a responsibility to help.
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Find out how you can help at stjude.org.
Short on time but want to invest in the stock market? Let philsgang.com help you. For only $39.95 a month, you get complete access to all of Phil's powerful investing programs, videos, and resources.
That works for me. Log in, watch the videos, and make profits.
Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. philsgang.com.
Remember, when this market crashed in 2009, it should have never crashed because the chairperson of these two committees, their job was to protect consumers, protect our investments, and they're supposed to ensure that our investments are being monitored. Where were they in 2009 and 2008? They weren't anywhere because they don't do that. They take care of themselves. They protect themselves. They become richer. So you can't depend on these crooks in Congress. The stock market is a great place to be, but you just got to know this is a different market than your grandfather's market. So why don't you, for 30 days, join my gang, 877-600-GANG, try it for 30 days, $39.95. Follow me. I tell you when to buy, when to sell, when to add, and when to run like hell. All I ask you, start making money. Please remember St. Jude.
Don't wait. Join Phil's Gang today and make profits. Go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264. Welcome back to the Phil's Gang Show. Are you ready to make profits in the stock market? Then go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. Now, here's Phil.
And welcome back to Phil's Gang. We're going to go over some stocks today we did very well with. And this, again, is so important to understand. They love inflation. The wealthy loves inflation. And the Federal Reserve does everything it can to increase inflation, so to devalue the dollar, so that they can pay down the debt with devalued dollars. So in other words, let's say that you have, let's say the national debt. The national debt is 30 trillion. It's almost there now. We use that 30 trillion. So 30 trillion. So if they can devaluate that dollar enough, they could, if they devalue by 50%, that means they don't have to pay the 30. They only have to pay 15. Your student loan, instead of 100,000, be 50,000. Your credit cards, instead of 12,000, be 6,000. Your auto loan, instead of 30 grand, be 15 grand. See, that's how it works. So for the rich, they really benefit. And all this debt, now what it does, it doesn't benefit the majority of the people, and that's why the market crashes, because it doesn't benefit. See, the way things are supposed to work with the Federal Reserve, their job should be to always to try to make sure the market, that pricing is down. You try to keep it as low as you can, because the majority of the people, 72% of the people, work paycheck to paycheck. 72% of our workforce, of let's say 170 million people, work paycheck to paycheck. So that's their job, to keep things down. And the other thing is, their job is to make sure that when things get inflated, when stock prices get inflated, anything gets inflated, their job is supposed to cut that down so that you're not paying. Like, for example, when you're paying for Tesla and you're paying for a lot of these stocks, they're so overvalued. Paying for the bank stocks, so overvalued. If G.W. Bush allowed the free market system to work in 2008, he would have let the banks collapse and only keep the strong banks. It would have made our country stronger, because then the prices of the banks would all come down. The stock market, that's the beautiful thing about a correction in the market, to let it come back to the prices that they should be. But they don't do that anymore. That's why the market's up 511%. That's why the market from March to March was up 90%. See, they're doing the opposite. But who benefits from that? Well, of course, Bernanke lied and said, it was Main Street, not Wall Street. So the point is, the more they inflate, it only benefits the rich. It benefits our Congress because now they can pay their national debt down with weaker dollars. So like I used as an example, if you cut the dollar in half, that means your debt is in half. And large corporations, see, they want to keep running inflation. Keep running that inflation, to keep dropping that dollar down so that corporations can pay their debt down much easier because the value of the dollar is going down. So if they can push the dollar down by 50%, then instead of the corporations, which they own $10 trillion, would now only own $5 trillion. That's how it works. But they're not supposed to let that happen. And that's why the bubble's getting bigger and bigger, because they let it happen, because who controls the bubble? They're man-made. Who controls it? The very, very wealthy, who control the Federal Reserve. And who's that? The 1/100th of 1%, who they take care of the top 10% of the population. Nobody gives a damn about Main Street, because people are getting, as long as the top are getting wealthier and wealthier and wealthier, see, and they can handle it because they're not on wages. They're not on wages. So if you remember, the wealthy, they don't collect a paycheck week to week. Are you kidding? If they do, they give it to charity. Their money is made in the market. Market go 511%, they made 511%. Every time that they can crush the dollar, gold will go up. So the people who are in gold make money. So think about it. So the very wealthy, their coins go up in value, their jewelry goes up in value, their art. Think about their art. In 1 year, art went from 2019 to 2020 from $6 billion to $12 billion. How many people you know that make anywhere from, let's say, $65,000 down to 65 to, let's say, 30,000 have art? Of course not. So see, this is what causes the crash. But they don't need you. They don't want you to understand any of this, because then you'd be aware of the crash, and you'd be aware of, geez, every time this dollar's getting clobbered. And when you go to my site and you go to look at my chart, and you'll see the dollar, it went from green to red, it's collapsing, and then we started to buy gold, because we know that dollar going down is going to be a disaster. Okay, so you go and buy commodities. You got to know where to go. But what they do is they make it sound like everything's terrific. Listen to this.
Win, 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 says Grassa, for all the different groups in the market. It is the sweet spot. It is Goldilocks. Not too hot, not too cold.
What a liar. Goldilocks. And they want people to come in, and they're going to borrow money now to go buy stocks. They're all going to get rich because it's Goldilocks. These poor souls have no idea. They have no idea. As our debt keeps on growing and they keep borrowing more and more money, and the more our dollar gets crushed, the more inflation, which increases the standard of living for the wealthy, because they have assets. Like I just said, if you have art from 2019 to 2020, it went from $6 billion to $12 billion. Gold, coins, jewelry, whatever. Now, inflation for Main Street is a destruction. It's terrible. It destroys them. When inflation, remember now, and they lie about inflation. They lie about inflation, say there's no inflation. We keep it to 2%, when the run rate right now is 11%. Because the one reason they always lie about inflation, that's why they try to press gold down, is because they don't want our lenders to think that we're not doing well. See, their lenders are going to look at it and say, wait a minute. If we're going to loan you money, America, okay, we want more money. We want higher interest rates. We want higher interest rates. Oh, well, no. We're not making any money. Unbelievable. We'll be right back after this.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
When the market's open, we watch the market all day long. And when we see there's an opportunity for a stock, and it's a stock that we've been following, there's a lot of stocks we put on our watch list, and it has to hit a certain criteria. Then when it does, we alert you. You immediately get an alert that says, we bought this stock, X stock, at $30. So you get an alert immediately. What's better than that? I mean, nobody does that for you. But the most important thing, they'll say, okay, here's why we're getting out now, or here's why we're taking profits. I think it's going to go down. Look, the most important thing is this. I want you to be prepared for when the market does tank or rally, that you're with us, Phil's Gang. 877-600-GANG. Join my gang right now, Phil's Gang. 877-600-GANG, and you'll be in position, and you'll sleep at night, and you don't have to worry.
Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
When the market's open, we watch the market all day long. And when we see there's an opportunity for a stock, and it's a stock that we've been following, there's a lot of stocks we put on our watch list, and it has to hit a certain criteria. Then when it does, we alert you. You immediately get an alert that says, we bought this stock, X stock, at $30. So you get an alert immediately. What's better than that? I mean, nobody does that for you. But the most important thing, they'll say, okay, here's why we're getting out now, or here's why we're taking profits. I think it's going to go down. Look, the most important thing is this. I want you to be prepared for when the market does tank or rally, that you're with us, Phil's Gang. 877-600-GANG. Join my gang right now, Phil's Gang. 877-600-GANG, and you'll be in position, and you'll sleep at night, and you don't have to worry.
Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
I've been a Phil's Gang member since 2014. Over that time, I've generated over six-figure profits. Following Phil, his charting system has really been a huge impact on my career and my life. I would recommend Phil's Gang to the mom and pop out there. I would recommend it to parents teaching their children. I would recommend it to grandparents. If you really trust in their system, you will do well.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264. With the philsgang.com membership, we bring investors right to the floor, into the pits with Phil's daily live webinar classroom. Get inside market guidance on investing strategies. Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Don't have time to analyze and study stocks? At philsgang.com, we recognize that there are all types of investors, and we also recognize that your time is valuable. So we offer investing programs for all individuals. We offer investing programs for long-term and short-term positions. And philsgang.com provides quick and easy to understand investing videos that only take a few minutes to watch. With the philsgang.com investing programs, you will learn technical stock charting, how to execute your trades, and most importantly, you will gain the confidence to know when to get out of a stock and take profits. Sign up at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or give them a call, 877-600-GANG.
I've been a Phil's Gang member since 2014. Over that time, I've generated over six-figure profits. Following Phil, his charting system has really been a huge impact on my career and my life. I would recommend Phil's Gang to the mom and pop out there. I would recommend it to parents teaching their children. I would recommend it to grandparents. If you really trust in their system, you will do well.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264. With the philsgang.com membership, we bring investors right to the floor, into the pits with Phil's daily live webinar classroom. Get inside market guidance on investing strategies. Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Don't have time to analyze and study stocks? At philsgang.com, we recognize that there are all types of investors, and we also recognize that your time is valuable. So we offer investing programs for all individuals. We offer investing programs for long-term and short-term positions. And philsgang.com provides quick and easy to understand investing videos that only take a few minutes to watch. With the philsgang.com investing programs, you will learn technical stock charting, how to execute your trades, and most importantly, you will gain the confidence to know when to get out of a stock and take profits. Sign up at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or give them a call, 877-600-GANG. Welcome back. Learn, invest, and make profits with Phil Grandy. Simply go to philsgang.com. Now, here's Phil.
And welcome back to Phil's Gang. Okay, I want you to listen to these cuts. It's unbelievable.
The two big stories in the market, which will continue to be the two big stories in the market, are the strength of the economy and the strength of earnings.
Well, first of all, the earnings, where's that strength come from? Printing money, which devaluates the dollar. And the first thing you do is you go in and buy your stock back. If you run a corporation, you reduce the amount of shares that are outstanding. By reducing the amount of shares outstanding, that artificially push up the earnings, which artificially pushes up the stock price, which has been going on for 13 years. And nobody would let the market correct. See, this is the biggest problem. That's why we're so close to a crash. Now, they're going to extend this crash as long as they can, okay, with this kind of noise. Listen to this.
But now you're starting to see where tech was nervous about rising rates. Those rates have backed off just enough for tech to move sideways. And now you're starting to see those charts steepen just a bit. And then you saw the IWM that came in pretty hard. Right. Well, that's rallying too.
Okay. So the reason big tech is rallying because they created the story inflation is temporary. Now, they know inflation is not temporary because they've been driving inflation since 2013. They've been driving the dollar down by creating inflation so they could pay their debt down easier. Corporations could pay their debt down easier. So that's a whole lie right there. So tech, the only reason why tech's going up is because they were able to convince everybody, okay, there's inflation, there's no inflation. And secondly is the people who are buying the tech stocks, okay, if you go look at the tech, it's the people who are coming into the stock market who otherwise have not been in this market for 13 years. They're sitting on the sideline, and all they hear is this garbage all the time on TV. All they know is the 5 FANG stocks. That's all they know. That's been burned into their brain. Now they finally come back into the market, borrowing money to buy stocks, $550 billion to buy these same 5 stocks and some other tech stocks. They have no clue that the big boys, the big money, are pulling out of tech, big tech, and they're rotating. They're rotating into steel. Give you an example. If you're a gang member and you owned SID, now it turned green at around, on April 7th, turned green around $7. Today it's at $9. That's a 28%, and it's green. Stayed green. The most important thing is when to get out of this thing. So you just click on your little helper here, like I'm doing right now, show yellow warning. And no, it doesn't show yellow, so that's good. The minute it shows yellow, it tells me that the institutions are pulling money out. And that's the beautiful thing, because the way I set up our charts, and nobody else has this, they better not, or they're stealing from me, that we want them to turn yellow, so the first sign of institutions pulling their money out, it turns yellow, it gives you a warning. Then finally it turns red, so you're always ahead. You're always playing ahead. You're not behind. You know, like skiing or tennis or baseball, you always got to think forward. You got to anticipate. Another one was steel stock, STLD. That's a great little steel stock. Okay, that's another one, STLD. Now, again, that turned green on February 12th at around $38. Today, it's $54. Stayed green. That's a 42% return. Now, I'm not suggesting that someone in my gang made 42%. That's not the point. The point is my members saw the opportunity of 42%. Once it turns green, they got to decide where they're going to buy. Now, some people buy right in the beginning. Some people, maybe buy in the middle. Some people maybe buy near the top. But the point is, it stayed green. Now, that's another lesson you learn. When you have too many stocks, you don't make money. That's right. Don't believe me. Read any of Warren Buffett's books or Peter Lynch's book. They'll tell you the same thing. If you have more than 5 stocks, you're out of your mind. because you'll never be on top of those stocks. People have 15, 20, 30 stocks. They're looking at too many stocks because they're greedy and they're trying to get a score. If you stay with 5 or 6 brand name stocks that it's in a portfolio of every hedge fund, portfolio of every bank, portfolio of every insurance company, if you buy the stocks that are in their portfolio, if you just stay with 5 or 6 of them, and you know when to not only get out, because 85% of you lose money because you don't know when to get out, but to switch your position to when it starts going down, you're making money on the way down, which is so easy today to do because of technology. So what's happening is, while he's sitting, now you're going to get people listening to him today. They're all going to be jumping in, okay, to the tech stocks. And people are going to get into the tech stocks like Netflix, or they're going to get into Amazon, or they're going to get into Apple. Most likely they're going to get into Apple and Microsoft. First of all, I wouldn't buy Apple at all today because it's at $134 and you got too much overhead. The high on this thing is at about $144. So from 134 to 144, that's all resistance. You got to pile up through that. You got to buy all those people out. You got to, like Pac-Man, you got to get up through that. That's called heavy resistance. Why do that? Instead, you're better off buying a power stock like the steel stock SID, which means there's no resistance above you. You just got to know which stock to get into. And you got to know which stock when to take your profits, when not to take your profits. And that's what we do every day with our portfolio. We post it. Steve takes it every day and posts it at 2 o'clock. Tells you exactly what to do with every stock in our member portfolio. How can you go wrong?
Intel, continue to hold your short position here. Our stop's at 61.67.
Then he goes on and tells you everything you need to know about Intel. And if you just follow his instructions, you're going to do fine. You're going to do fine. You don't have to get the whole stock. You don't have to get the whole 41%. You don't have to get the whole 50%. You don't have to get the whole 20% of these moves when they turn green. You got to be like a mouse. You're just going to catch a little piece of that cheese. You're going to take a bite. And if every month, if you can just take and make 5% a month, 5%, and you can do that by following the same portfolio. If you're only following 5 or 6 stocks and maybe another 5 bonus stocks, if you have a total of 10 stocks, you will consistently make money because you're consistently following them and you understand them and you're watching them. But people are always listening to these guys for the hot stock. They always run off to another stock. Then they run off to another stock. And then they keep missing their moves. You got to let the stock come to you. And the fewer stocks, the more money you make. I had a friend who made a load of money on one stock, Broadcom. He made a fortune. All he'd do is buy it, and he'd sell it short. He loved golf more than anything. And he always made sure he's out in a golf course by 11:30. By 11:30. He'd do his trading from 9:30 to about 10:30. Okay, he lived on a golf course. It's 11:15, that's it. And then he'd come in the afternoon right before the close of the market. So, because obviously right before the close, you start buying again under certain circumstances. And that's what he would do. One stock. And you can do that because it's a popular stock. The institutions are buying it. Why do you have to have all these stocks? That's ridiculous. But the key is to know when to get out, but to also sell short. So again, listen to this here. This is unbelievable. Everybody's so hyper today on this, and we have the biggest inflation ever.
Even though consensus has come up quite a bit over the last number of months, we don't think they're really fully reflecting yet the potential of economic growth.
You notice this? Let me tell you, when anybody tells you there's no problem, start worrying. When they tell you there's no problem, right? Now everybody's telling you there's no problem. Every crash we heard that, no problem. And you know these people here, these dopes. And when the market crashes, they're the first ones that come back on CNBC, come back on Fox and tell you why they crashed and how you were wrong in buying them. They're going to tell you, they say, we're going to bring in our expert, Joe Suckface. He's going to tell you why you should have bought Intel. Unbelievable. Join my gang.
Want
free
more
for 10
information
days.
on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG. What if you could have an in-depth understanding of the stock market just like the pros? Well, thanks to Phil Grandy and philsgang.com, you can. philsgang.com offers comprehensive, up-to-date market information designed to help you understand and anticipate market behavior. With philsgang.com, you'll build your investing confidence even through down cycles and periods of uncertainty. Go to philsgang.com. philsgang.com today. 877-600-GANG. 877-600-4264.
Thinking about investing in the stock market? Go to philsgang.com, where we have over 50 years experience in trading and investing in the stock market. Phil's Gang teaches you how to make profits in the market with stock chart analysis, up-to-the-minute alerts, and always keeping you informed with professional guidance in long and short-term positions. Go to philsgang.com or call one of our professional staff to answer your questions. 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Stop wondering about your financial future and start doing something about it.
When the market's open, we watch the market all day long. And when we see there's an opportunity for a stock, and it's a stock that we've been following, there's a lot of stocks we put on our watch list, and it has to hit a certain criteria. Then when it does, we alert you. You immediately get an alert that says, we bought this stock, X stock, at $30. So you get an alert immediately. What's better than that? I mean, nobody does that for you. But the most important thing, they'll say, okay, here's why we're getting out now, or here's why we're taking profits. I think it's going to go down. Look, the most important thing is this. I want you to be prepared for when the market does tank or rally, that you're with us, Phil's Gang. 877-600-GANG. Join my gang right now, Phil's Gang. 877-600-GANG, and you'll be in position, and you'll sleep at night, and you don't have to worry.
Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264. Short on time but want to invest in the stock market? Let philsgang.com help you. For only $39.95 a month, you get complete access to all of Phil's powerful investing programs, videos, and resources.
That works for me. Log in, watch the videos, and make profits.
Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. philsgang.com.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. You probably heard me on the radio talking about investing in stocks and trading stocks. Well, this is a special message that I am sending out to you. You, the person who is the beginner, who are getting excited. You're seeing every day the stock market going up, never comes down, keeps going up because of the tremendous stimulus that the president is putting into this market. He wants to continue this market going up while the economy's going down. And that's what it's doing. The economy's going straight down. You know, banks right now, worst ever. They've gone down 40%. I mean, everything's going down. Companies aren't making money, but the stock market's still going up. And you got to be very, very careful when you get into a market like this. You got to know when to get out, and that's where we come in. So if you're a beginner and you want to start learning how to invest stocks properly and have the comfort level of knowing when to get out, when to buy, when to sell, and when to get out, contact us at philsgang.com. Join today, free for 10 days.
Why pay thousands of dollars for a weekend seminar when for only $39.95 a month, philsgang.com provides all the daily market investing information you need to make profits in the stock market. With over 40 years of investing experience, only Phil Grandy and the philsgang.com team provide daily live investing webinars, up-to-the-minute market updates, all the investing educational videos you can imagine. Don't hesitate to learn, invest, and make profits. Go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG, 877-600-4264. Welcome back to the Phil's Gang Show. Are you ready to make profits in the stock market? Then go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. Now, here's Phil.
And welcome back to Phil's Gang. Join my gang free for 10 days. You get the color-coded chart that tells you when to buy, when to add, when to sell, when to run like hell, and better yet, when to turn your position to a short. You got to learn how to short. A crash is coming. How do we know that? Because we are seeing inflation getting worse and worse and worse. And remember what the inflation is doing. It's lowering the value of the dollar. Just look at a chart, any chart, UUP, the dollar's going down. When the dollar's going down, that's done on purpose. And who does that screw? It screws the masses of people. It screws. You take if we have a you guys take let's say it screws about 72% of our workforce because they have a wage. That's all they do. They live on a wage. They barely can do that. Where the top 10 percentile make a fortune with the dollar going down because it also helps them pay their debt down because they're paying debt with lower value dollars. Like I said, if the dollar dropped 50%, you own $100,000. You don't owe $100,000 anymore. You owe $50,000. Same thing with the national debt. So if the national debt were at $30,000, and let's say the dollar drops 10%, they knock off $3 trillion. $3 trillion. So if you have a 30 trillion debt, and market goes down, dollar goes down 10%, the government's got it made because now they don't really owe 30 trillion. Okay, they knock off $3 trillion. And same thing if you have a car loan. If you own a car for $30,000, you owe $30,000 your car. Dollar drops 10%, you owe 10% less on your car because you're paying it back with weaker dollars. Now, for the people on the wealthy, they don't care about wages. They could care less. They don't make money on wages. They don't have wages. They make their money in dividends. They make their money on their assets they own. They whether it's a piece of art. I just told you, artwork doubled in 1 year. 1 year, 2020, 2021, or 2019, 2001 year. So again, the whole scam has been to convince you, the Fed, that they're working hard to try to keep inflation down, when they're working hard to try to keep inflation up. And how do you inflate? They tell you, go look at the reason why they want you to look at the CPI, they get you looking at the wrong thing. It's not when the price goes up of something. It's when the dollars they print go into circulation, where they do more and more QE. They do another $4 trillion. They do $6.5 trillion for stock buybacks. They print and then they put out into circulation $7.1 trillion for monetization of debt, where they go in and they save all these companies that should be going bankrupt. Instead, they buy their bad debt and give them cash. They print another $9 trillion to prop up the banks in September 2019. See, that's what they're doing. See, that's when you get inflation, when you take that money and it circles, and when you have that velocity, that's when there's inflation. But they don't want you to know that, because if I could convince you of that, and everybody be in Washington yelling and screaming, workers who are making, let's say, a combined income of anywhere from $70,000 down to $20,000, they'd be screaming. They said, "What are you doing? What are you doing printing all this money? Because you're printing this money, I'm getting screwed. Because now the dollar is going." The inflation is you printed all this money, it's sitting there dormant, so there's no inflation. I get that. But now you do 8 trillion stimulus, 9 trillion stimulus, 7.1 trillion monetization debt, 6.5 trillion, another 4 trillion, another 2 trillion, another 8 trillion, putting all that money out in circulation. They've been doing that since 2013, and they're telling us, oh, it's temporary. How can it be temporary since they've been doing this since 2013? But they get you looking at the wrong thing. They get you, oh, the CPI report's coming out today. Oh, my God, coffee went up. Oh, my God, this went up, that went up. That doesn't mean squat. See, but they know you'll get angry. They know you'll get angry. You call your congressman, he says, stop printing this money. Every day, listen to this, every month, $126 billion is printed, and they put in circulation to purchase treasuries to keep interest rates at zero. Every month, they print $100 billion. Now, if they just put the $100 billion and leave it in a pile, there's no inflation. But when they take the $100 billion, put it in circulation, and they buy $100 billion a month in stock buybacks, inflation goes up. They print $120 billion. Well, inflation doesn't go up because they print $120 billion. Oh, now you put in circulation $120 billion a month to monetize corporate debt, to buy their bad debt, to keep them alive, these zombie companies. $215 billion a month, okay? $215 billion a month just to keep the bank debt going, to keep these banks going. $215 billion a month. After they put they're already up to $9 trillion, and every month they add another $215 billion. See, now that's what happens. That's when we get inflated, and that's when everybody gets screwed. But here's the thing. The wealthy, they're going to be out of the market. See, the idea is to get the wealthy, very wealthy, because who controls the Fed? Who controls the money? Who decides to print the money? Who decides that there's going to be inflation or no inflation? The very rich. The 1/100th of 1%. And they protect the top 1%, then they protect the top 10%. They decide. And as long as they control everything, they're going to get very, very rich. And when they can't put any more money in their pocket that's falling out of their pants, they put the money in their ear, the hair, they put money in their hat, they stuff it everywhere. And when they can't stuff money anymore in their shoes or shirt, then they say, okay, let's pull the bid out. I'm going home. And then the market crashes. It does it every time, but they get you looking at the wrong thing. So you got to be in the right stocks. You got to make sure you're not sitting there like a dope and buying Netflix, okay? Why buy Netflix? You should be buying steel. I just told you, our SID, we got it turned green at around $6, and today's trading $9.42. That's about, was that 28%, 50%. Why do you want to be in Netflix? You got to be in commodities because the dollar's going down. See, that's the problem. Nobody ever tells you where to be. And then when the stock goes down, they tell you, buy in the pullback, buy in the pullback. Buy on what pullback? Where? And then you get screwed buying on the pullback. Take like Home Depot, Walmart, take all the big box stores and take the retail. They went nuts to tell you how retail's, wow, look at retail, unbelievable, wow, look at retail. Wait a minute. Where'd it come from? The stimulus checks. Like we're in McDonald's and Starbucks. I told my members to be in McDonald's, Starbucks. When those checks start coming out, everybody runs to McDonald's and Starbucks, and the stock's going through the roof. But now you got to know when to get out. You got to know where to rotate to, get out. Is anybody telling you where to rotate to, where to get out? Are they getting you out in time? Is your planner telling you to get out in time? No. And what if you're in a 401k? You don't know anything in a 401k. You just sit there and keep it in a drawer. At least get a chart to tell you you're in trouble. And we designed a chart. We designed a chart for that. Listen to this.
I've been a Phil's Gang member for a long time. Before joining Phil's Gang, I was one of the 85 percentile who lost money trading stocks because, like them, I didn't know when to get out of my stocks before a correction or a major stock market crash, like what happened in 2002 and again in 2008. Using Phil's Pro 2 color-coded chart with buy and sell signals, I no longer worry about my short-term trades. And now, with a nearing repeat of the 2002 and 2008 crashes due to an incredibly overvalued stock market, I was looking for a way to manage longer-term mutual fund investments. As a result of our collaboration, we came up with the first-ever mutual fund tracker. Not only does it identify when to exit my long-term mutual fund investments with great accuracy, it also offers so many other important features. For more information, go to philsgang.com.
There you go. So we designed a chart for mutual fund people. For you people with mutual funds. You never know when to get out. So we have a chart for you. So now you won't get screwed. But just think for a moment what's going on. Since 2008, they've been lying to you, telling you they're fighting inflation. They've been fighting inflation. And they're trying to keep the dollar from collapsing. Total lie. Because all they do is keep printing money. And as I told you a moment ago, it doesn't inflate until it goes into circulation. Then it inflates. Now, who makes all the money? The people who have assets, the wealthy. People on wages don't make money. They try to make a living. People on wages, if you're making $25,000 a year, 50, 60, even 70, even 80, if you live in New York or Boston, you're screwed because you're on wages. Anybody on wages are screwed because they're working against you, and that's why they got to get rid of the Federal Reserve. That's not going to happen, so why don't you just join my gang? And at least you'll know which stocks to be in, which stocks not to be in, to rotate from this group to that group. We do this every day for our members. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'll see you on the charts. Join my gang free for 10 days. When you do make money, please remember St. Jude.
You have been listening to Phil's Gang with your host, Phil Grandy, on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Remember to visit Phil's website at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or call the office, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.